breath of twilight caresses the air. The river mist hangs sweet and fair. The evening swallows, they whisper their tune, dancing on the moon. Why have the stars called us here?
Welcome to Songwriters Alive with Tom Cooney. Our special guest this time is Keith Shaw. Hey, Keith.
Hey, Tom. How you doing?
Good. Very good to see you.
Got my mechanical waving arm going here.
Good. Keith is a greater Philadelphia singer-songwriter. I met through the Philadelphia area Songwriters Alliance, PASA. PASA Songs on Facebook for those of you folks who are looking for a good and supportive songwriting group that you'd want to join. And Keith, I think I probably heard your music first a couple of years ago, year and a half maybe?
Probably.
Yeah.
Thereabouts. You know, it's hard to tell. You know, time just kind of blends into each other.
It has been during the pandemic, and that's probably my first question. How have you responded to these conditions? I know you've been very busy. You keep yourself so busy creating and gigging. How did the pandemic kind of affect you, and how did you get that great response to it?
Actually, it's funny because I was having this similar conversation about 3 or 4 days ago with someone, and we are both on the side. I know a lot of people struggle with it, still struggle with it, but at the risk of sounding like overly happy or whatever, I was very positive about it. I actually did a lot more things than I normally would have done. Part of that is, and I'm talking about all areas of my life, not just music, but I won't go into those, but musically, it gave me the opportunity because people had to go virtual to interact, and some of the people I knew before, and some of the people I never saw before in my life, except on Zoom or Facebook. And it actually gave me the opportunity because you can get out to a lot more places faster virtually than you can getting behind the wheel of your car and driving all over the place.
True.
So it actually allowed me to play a lot more frequently, a lot more scheduled events, like doing like hour-long or whatever sets, and being able to do that in front of a larger audience. Because for me, I have a lot of friends that are overseas, and if the time worked, because you get the time variable, the time, standard time versus, GST and stuff, allowed them to actually tune into some of the streams that were open, like on Facebook or Zoom through Facebook, that normally they wouldn't have been able to do, or it had been a number of years since they saw me perform live. So for me, it gave me the opportunity to do a lot of that. Gave me a lot of opportunity to do a lot of recording. So I recorded an album last year, which we can talk about at some point. So for me, it was a very positive thing because, I'm just like a more self-sufficient person. Like things that closed down, like gyms and stuff, didn't bother me either because I have I'm all self-contained.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah. That's a really good thing because, of course, it's been challenging for everyone of every profession, or especially homemakers as well, and kids in school and everyone. And it's great to see folks just accept the situation for what it is and just tackle it. Yeah. And I think that shows up in your attitude whenever I see you perform. Yeah. You're always positive, and it's a very, very good thing. Yeah. We'll talk more about Keith's background and other neat stuff, but we usually like to get started pretty quickly on the music. And what song were you thinking of sharing with folks first?
Well, since I have this guitar on and it's tuned in a wacky tuning. As I told somebody the other day, you won't find this like an Amel Bay book or something like that. Actually, I became familiar with this tuning because of these virtual things that we're doing, and actually to name it just through PASA. Oh, just so you know, we have an interloper in the room. My cat is down around my feet, so I look down from time to time. He's doing his head boops into my leg. But anyways, this tuning, which is CGCFCE, lots of C's, like I heard somebody play it on the PASA one evening when we were doing it back, I don't know, 6 months ago. I said, that sounds pretty cool, and I studied up on it, and I started strumming around, and next thing I know, like a melody started to kind of fall out of it. And like chord sounds and stuff started to fall out of it, and I said, ooh, that sounds pretty cool. And then I started thinking about things, and I started thinking about fireflies and stuff. So I wrote this song, Firefly Serenade. The music came first, like the melody and the music came first, the strumming, and I recorded it just to make sure I was hearing what I thought I heard, and then I wrote words to it, and here it is, Firefly Serenade. It's a firefly serenade. It's a firefly serenade. It's a firefly serenade.
Wonderful. Very
Thank you.
nice.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
That is
We,
a great tuning.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of Nick Drake before, back
Oh,
from
yeah.
the '70s, and mutual friend of ours, I'm not gonna say who it is, played something in that tuning, and I just love that drony, dreamy,
Yeah.
whatever sound of it, and I just,
Yeah. It is beautiful. Yeah. And of course, most folks would know Nick Drake by Pink Moon, his famous
That
album,
is true.
famous song. Yeah. And I know who of you speak. Yeah. I like that because it's a lot like the Dadgad tuning, where there's a suspension built into the open tuning. So the chord sounds suspended without you doing much at the beginning.
Yes, and I love suspended chords. I'm just a big suspended chord fan. Any song like it has suspensions in it, A sus2, D sus4, whatever. I just
Oh, it's wonderful.
I'm
You
all
know,
over 'em.
it brings that bit of tension, and music is fundamentally one way to look at it is tension and release. Suspension suspends it, allows you to resolve it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and the best part of it is a guitarist. They're all in the same place.
You know what? It brings me to my first question. Was guitar your first instrument?
Yes, it was. Growing up, and I have a lot of friends, and maybe even yourself, because we haven't talked about this, stuff. Like, I have a lot of friends who, growing up, learned an instrument: piano, drums, guitar, trumpet, whatever. And I didn't have that opportunity. I wasn't encouraged to do that kind of stuff. So I always wanted to, and things get in the way, life and college, and my daughter, and she didn't get in the way, but she came along, and that was a responsibility of mine, and so forth. And then I went to my master's degree, and once I got done my master's degree, I was like, geez, like, I don't have anything to do except for work, right? So I said, I need something to do. So probably about 25 years ago, I said, I'm gonna, do it or not do it. So I went to a guitar store at the time up in Princeton, and I walked in and I saw a guitar. It was an electric guitar, and I saw it and I said, that's pretty cool. And the guy took it down and he tuned it for me and said, do you want to try it out? And I said, not really. He said, why? I said, well, because I don't know how to play guitar. I said, and I explained I didn't explain the story very long. I just said, I don't know how to play. So he showed me, a couple basic chords,
Yeah.
open E and open C, and said, good luck with it. And I don't think I ever saw the guy again. And then I just started monkeying around with it, and just started, and I took some lessons here and there. But it was a completely different style of music from where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So you're talking, in the 90s, you're talking, Nirvana, and you're talking Pearl Jam, and you're talking,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And, over time, I've migrated to different type of stuff, but that's kind of where I started out. And I did for about 9 years, from 96 to 2005, I played with a band and played around in the area. They no longer exist, but we played just covers and stuff at bars and restaurants and clubs, and that was fun. You work a 12-hour day, and then you're out till 4 a.m, by the time you get home.
I've been there. I've been there.
Then in 2005, unfortunately, things changed. Not badly, but unfortunately things changed, and I left that band, and then I actually started some small business type stuff, which takes, if you ever had a small business before, it takes, out of your day of 24 hours, it takes 26 hours. And so from the end of 2005 till 2014, other than maybe once in the blue moon, I would pick up a guitar and just strum a couple of things. I didn't play out, I didn't write any music, I just did nothing. And in 2014, I actually met somebody famous standing in line at the airport. Well, to me, he was famous, but anyways, we got to talking, and he just, all of a sudden, this light bulb went off in my head, and I'm just like, geez, I should start playing again. Because this guy played with, he played in the Saturday Night Live band, and he played, with Dylan and this guy and that guy in Hall & Oates, and I was just like, oh man.
Is that G.E. Smith?
Bingo.
Got it.
Bingo. Yep, we were standing there, and when you see somebody that you recognize from, like I said, fame or fortune.
Yeah.
I mean, some people would just run up and like, yeah, like a teenager, right? But I'm always like wary. But since he was, you have that thing you weave back and forth at the airport when you're waiting to go through security. It's like, if I just say, hey, are you G.E. Smith? And he goes, yeah. He could either just go, have a nice day and keep going, or the line would keep going.
Yeah.
But then he just starts talking because the line wasn't moving. And I started thinking, I said, let's start giving it a try. And some other friends got me involved in music. And it took me like a whole year before I started to get out in front of people and play, which, because I had played in a band, I never did what I'm doing now.
Solo, yeah.
Solo, which is like a whole nother thing, which is like the bowling ball, the raw egg, and the chainsaw.
Yes,
because you're playing the guitar, you're singing the music, you're listening to yourself, you're looking at people if you're playing in front of people, and
queuing up the next song.
I was just like, people say that public speaking is the number one fears are public speaking and then being on fire. If you look at one of these gurus, positive, thinking gurus, and public speaking to me, as you can tell, I can just go on forever. I used to get up in front of like 500 people and give sales presentations and point at PowerPoint with a laser pointer and stuff like that. So I didn't have no worries about that. But man, getting up and playing music by yourself with no safety net or like the embrace of that band.
It is nerve-wracking. It is nerve-wracking.
And I
know exactly. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I still struggle with that now. So it took me about a year to do that. The first time I did it, if I was incontinent, I probably would have wet my drawers, but I didn't. But I just said to myself, man, I said to myself, all right, you did it, but you can do better. So then I just kept working it. And then I took me about 2 years to get into writing songs, because I said, you go out and you play somebody else's song, right? You play a cover. And when I play somebody else's cover, I try to stay true to it, but I try to put some of my own flair into it.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you could go on YouTube, and I'm just gonna pick Bruce Springsteen only because his birthday was just recently, and you can see 50 versions of Thunder Road.
Yeah.
All different flavors of it, right? So I said, you know what? I'll do that, but I'd like to get into my own music. So
That's great.
I said, what I would like to do because what I started doing from 2015 to 17 was I was writing some songs. I'd perform them in front of people. And then once that moment was over, like the song was just like, it vaporized into the air and there was no physical copy.
Yeah.
So,
it's different. Yeah.
So in 2017, I had, at the end of that year, I'd come back from a friend's wedding. Down in South Carolina, we had a wedding band, so I played in the wedding band. And again, it was all music that was completely different from what I do now. I mean, I'm talking, hard rock, heavy metal dudes.
Yeah.
Which was fun. I mean, I still like to monkey around with that. And I came back and I said, you know what? I'm going to start recording some songs.
Good. Yeah.
So fortunately, I had some experience, and I'm not going to show you, but if you looked at my very cluttered desk right here with my recording setup and everything else, I recorded my first song, which was Cherry Red.
Right.
And it was kind of cool because I said, God, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I mean, I wrote the words. They're my words. And the song was about cults.
Yeah.
And that's why the Cherry Red came about, because Cherry Red like Kool-Aid, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I started playing it like a regular old song, and I said, wait a minute, I can do whatever I want. Oh, look at this thing. I got this thing over here. Oh, look, it's a harmonizer. Geez, where did this come from? Like I started discovering all of this stuff I had packed away in drawers and closets and stuff. So if you listen to that song, it actually sounds like a keyboard song, but it's me playing the guitar through a a Boss harmonizer. So it got, you
Right.
know, and
Yeah.
then, you know, the drums and the bass and the vocals and all that stuff. So then I got a little bit braver and I just continually kept doing it to get me up to the point I'm at now. And unfortunately, because of all of the musical opportunities that presented themselves this year, I was going to start off recording a bunch of stuff, but I just haven't got to it because I have to be dedicated, like in my brain, to doing that. No matter what else is going on, I got to get that mindset going. Plus, because when I listen, I got exposed to a lot. When I got exposed to a lot of different stuff, like your music and the other people in PASA, and then some of the, you know, because of the streaming, you know, the annual Philadelphia Folk Song events were all online, so it gave me the opportunity to go there and pick and choose. And I saw some artists that I just went, I got to try to do that. That is just like really cool, because they were just like a one-person band type.
Yeah, and it's really neat, and it's as much as the music inspires you, their commitment is what inspires you also. That they're sticking to it, they're producing the content, and even if they're not sure at the moment what's going to happen with the content, they commit to finishing the song, getting the rough version recorded, and then playing it live a few times so that they know what the song's supposed to be before they move on to something else.
Yeah, but some of the people I saw, like I said, yourself, you've been very inspirational.
Well, thank you.
Some of, the Nick Drake tuning I copped off of Rob Lincoln.
Rob Lincoln, yeah.
Yeah. I've even some of the people, Charles Nolan kind of filters in and out of that. Some of the stuff he does. And then just some of the well-known people, like when I was familiar with Kev Mo, I knew some of his stuff, but when I saw him live, so to speak, at the spring PFS thing back at the end of February, I was just sitting there on the couch with my tablet in front of my face. My jaw was on the floor, and I'm going like, I got to start playing more.
Yeah, and he's
like
such
that.
a relaxed and confident communicator and performer. I'm a big-time introvert. For me, performing at live on screen or live in person is draining. I'm exhausted by the end. But for a lot of people, I'm driven by the music. I'm compelled to play. I have to. And it's nice seeing someone like Kev Mo or someone else just like being, I'm performing, so what? I need to relax and deliver, and they enjoy it.
Well, plus too, with a guy like him, the musicality, his technique, his style,
The sense of history.
and he says, I was inspired by Big Bill Brunsey and this guy and that guy and Robert Johnson, but he's taken that and tweak that into something that he can communicate and be comfortable with. So for the last 6 months, that's what I've been working on, is trying to get more of that style of playing into my own. Because another reason I didn't start recording, well, I did start recording, but then I realized I had a lot of songs that were kind of sounding the same.
Yeah.
I was going like, I like that song, I really like the song, but I'm kind of like, unless I'm careful, it's going to sound the same. So right now I'm in the woodshed, so to speak, and I'm working on, and actually some of the things I played over the weekend at the Pops Train Music Festival down in Tuckahoe have been influenced, like my song Lonesome Whistle, have been influenced by some of that, old style stuff.
Wonderful. Yeah.
And so I want to, within about a year, I want to kind of totally I don't want to abandon what I've done, because I still have a lot of my one person stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like to get more of that other flavor into the things that I'm.
It will change, which is good, which is a good thing. All musicians, their music changes over time, not unless you're a cover band, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's great that it changes. While you're thinking about what you're going to play for your next tune, you had mentioned a number of other instruments, and I was going to ask you, on your recordings, are you playing a lot of the other instruments?
I'm playing, everything that you hear on the song is by me.
That's fantastic. So drum or bass or keyboard or...
And I'm not, and here's the thing. like I said, I'm in the woodshed with the acoustic guitar, right?
Yeah.
I'm gone back to the woodshed, not because I need to learn how to play an open C, but how to get more of that, and working on my timing and tapping my foot and doing all that kind of stuff that makes me more like a Keb Mo or a Robert Johnson, kind of a flavor into my playing, like incorporating that into what I'm doing.
Nice.
So I can, I mean, you know, guitar is 6 strings and however many frets, depending on the body style that gets in your way. I mean, the possibilities of that thing are limitless.
Endless.
You know, between like the tuning I just did, and then open D and this thing and that thing and whatever thing.
And then dozens of musical styles to apply to it.
Yeah, it's just, if somebody says I'm an expert in the guitar, I mean, unless you're a guy like G.E. Smith or whoever.
Yeah,
Joe
Pass.
Joe Satriani or somebody like that. But all of the other things I play, I'm not by no means an expert. What I do is once I write a song, and sometimes, like Firefly Serenade, that melody came first, and then I needed to find words that kind of fit it. So like, you know, for instance, with that melody, the lyrics to Crazy Train would not have worked, right? So I needed something that was kind of outdoorsy and soft and droney.
And so your other instruments kind of are doing the same thing. They're supporting what you've constructed.
Right. So for me to go out and somebody say, "Oh, we need a bass player," I'd be like, "Well, it's not me." See, what I do is I
same here.
Yeah. So I create the words of the music. I get the foundation down. So I always get the tempo and everything down. Well, except for some songs where I really didn't have any percussion in the back of it.
Right.
But once I get that down, then I lay down the rhythm track. For me, that always comes next. Yeah. Then I start to figure out what comes next, and it's not always the same thing, because maybe I can put down percussion and rhythm, and then the bass doesn't feel right unless I'm singing some words so I can play off to it. So I might do a scratch vocal or something like that. But then I just keep building up the layers till I get what I want. So I say this song sounds like it needs some keyboards. Then I'll break out the couple of keyboards I have, and I'll sit there and go, okay, the white keys, the black keys.
There you go.
And this key of the song as I'm playing in, and boom, 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 boom. And sometimes I get creative, like a song that I recorded on the album Haunted. Like I didn't just, like with the keyboard, I didn't just play the straight chords. I actually played the chords differently to make it work better. It wasn't just like, I tried to be creative and play some modal keyboard type stuff on that.
Start whenever you'd like.
All right. So this song came about, this was actually one of the first songs that I ever wrote that I was very happy with. And it came about, I took a nap on the floor one day, and I was in front of the fireplace in the house, and it was like one of these things, I'm going to take a 20-minute nap, and then I'm going to get up, and I'm going to, like, you know, paint the house or whatever. And unfortunately for the house, didn't get painted, but 3 hours later, I woke up, and I looked at the clock, and I said to myself, oh my gosh, the time just like, I just slept away 3 hours of my life. And all of a sudden this idea, and the fireplace was still kind of burning, and the reflection of the flames was still, you know, kind of bouncing off the wall. And I got this idea of you know, you kind of sleep through a big chunk of your life, right? You sleep 8 hours a day, you know, so you're sleeping a third of your life. A lot of people go through their whole life sleeping. I mean, they're awake, but they're sleeping because they're not in tune with what's going on. And that's what gave me the idea of the song Ticking. And it was ticking because of like an old school clock with hands on it and the second hand and everything else. And that's how it came about. So that's probably enough about my nap time there. So this is my song Ticking from my album Haunted, which is available on a bunch of places, Reverb Nation and Spotify and Bandcamp and all that cool stuff. So let's get going.
The time moves by so fast at the speed of light. passing by without a glance, flames flicker on the wall. I remember when we were kids, we were stealing our way through space and time, looking forward to the future waiting us, never wanting to stay small. Time ticking, hands move ahead. Seasons cycle through the years, calendar pages are torn. Time ticking, hands move ahead. Calendar pages torn away. The time moves by so fast at the speed of light, passing by without a glance, flames flicker on the wall. As I look behind me now at the bridges I have crossed, every step was a game of chance, destiny consumes us all. Time ticking, hands move ahead. Seasons cycle through the years, calendar pages are torn. Time ticking, hands move ahead. Calendar pages torn away. Calendar pages torn away. Calendar pages torn away.
Taking from Keith Shaw's new release, Haunted. And this is probably a good transition point where we could go look at a couple of Keith's websites. And so I'm going to share a screen here.
Oh, boy.
And so we're looking at, on Apple Music, of course, is where you can find Keith Shaw. So that's music.apple.com/artist/Keith Shaw. So you can look him up, and that's KEITHSHAW. We like to spell that for every artist here. We're on our 22nd episode, by the way, and
wow,
it's good to have Keith Shaw with us. And you can see the latest release there, Haunted, and you can also see top songs listed there, including the song that Keith had mentioned, Cherry Red. A lot of really good tunes here, and of course the different singles that Keith has highlighted. You can see that there. Also, don't forget, Keith's on, as he said, a lot of usual places, including Spotify. And there, of course, is the Haunted release on Spotify. And he has a Facebook page, and that's Keith Shaw Music. Keith Shaw Music on Facebook. And you can see there's a couple good pictures that were down here I wanted to highlight. This is you playing at the Kelly Center in Havertown?
Yeah, that was this past Sunday. Yeah. And somebody was nice enough to take that picture of me while I was playing.
That's a great picture.
Obviously, I can't do it, but I couldn't remember if I was laughing while I was playing or just extremely happy because I'm looking goofy.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to give you a chance to talk about this, too, because this is your gig you've got coming up here.
Yeah, this is well, actually, let me back up. The Elephant Talk Indie Music Awards are this Friday and Saturday. It's down in Mays Landing at a place called, Watering Hole Cafe.
Yes.
Jeez, I almost forgot it.
That's Mays Landing, New Jersey, for you honestly.
Mays Landing, New Jersey, yeah, in case there's some other Mays Landing in, like, Minnesota. But kind of a neat poster.
Yes.
The people upside down on the top are the Friday people, some names that people may recognize on there.
Yeah.
Some names that I recognize. And then Saturday, I'm on there down at the bottom because I'm going to be opening Saturday. I'll be at noon, from noon to 12:45, and I'll be doing all original music. I'll probably do some of the songs that I just did. It's a great a gentleman named Jerry Ryan, who I became familiar with a couple of years ago. Started this actually, a dozen years ago, as I recall, but I haven't been involved with it more than a couple of years, and I got involved with it, and every time he's putting out the call out for people to donate some time and play, I'm always raising my hand. But
and that's also a fundraiser, right, Keith?
That is correct. Boy, what a segue. Did we rehearse this or
You
what?
did, totally.
But there's an organization that Elephant Talk supports called Sprouting Connections. And what Sprouting Connections does is they do programs in the communities for people, not only youth, but also adults who struggle with autism. And they have sporting programs, karate and art and crafts and stuff like that, and so forth. And then they also do things in the area of employment. I know one of their objectives, and I'm not sure what the time frame is of it, but they want to actually start a working farm and then use that as an opportunity for people who struggle with or on the autism spectrum to work in an environment like that.
Boy, that's wonderful.
And actually, I can see that becoming a great fundraiser for them, when the harvest comes in, so to speak.
That's great.
But this is what this is about on Saturday. So if you can make it down there, please do. There will be an award show because Jerry did just do the Elephant Talk Indie Music Awards
Got it.
Nominations and finalists. There will also be I don't know if you can read that at the bottom. There'll be some other activities there. There'll be a drag show called What's the Buzz?
I see that, yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of a new add to it. Actually, it's pretty cool. Because why not, man? Just much entertainment as you can throw at it. And
for those folks who can't make it, so you can reach out to sproutingconnections.org. That's sproutingconnections.org or elephants4autism.com, elephants4autism.com.
Yes, I've also put, I believe that it works. I think it's above that thing there, but if you go to my Facebook page, there's a QR code that you can scan and donate. So
wonderful.
It can be $1, it could be $2, it could be $5. You can get generous and throw a 20 in there.
Sure.
But
or more.
Anything you can do would be great. And if you can come down, that's great because you have the support of people in the community that come down. Come down and yell and scream and cheer and everything else, and eat some hamburgers because they have food and of course
have some fun, listen to
too.
music, and do it all for a good cause. That's fantastic.
And it'll go on Saturday from 12 noon till, whenever they finish up.
That's great. And you mentioned you have a private party coming up, and then, of course, you'll be part of Make Music on December 21st, which is usually their big celebration, of course, is every June 21st, but they're doing one in the winters now. So
Yeah, I did the one on June 21st. That was a lot of fun. Because I really needed it that day.
Yeah.
Because I was having beginning of the summer was just pretty grinding to me. And I played that day, and that was just like a release. Just got all of this whatever out of me, and I finished up and turned everything off, and I just felt great. And I said, now the summer can definitely be a lot better.
There we go. That's a good thing. So, so you seem to be in a writing mode recently. You mentioned a bunch of things that are so recent they haven't been committed to even rough recording yet, and you're working on other songs. Are you kind of in a phase right now?
I go through spurts, like the song that we'll get to at some point, "Lonesome Whistle." I was coming from, where was I? I was on the Schuylkill Expressway. Hadn't got to the Vine yet, coming back to Jersey. But I'm still on the Schuylkill Expressway, and if you've been on there any time in the last 30 years, you know how much of a parking lot it is. And I'm sitting there, and I didn't hear a train, but I knew I was doing this Pops Train Music Festival, which was a week ago. No, yeah, this past Saturday, not a week ago Saturday. And I was doing covers of train theme songs.
Yeah.
And I just popped in my head, and I said, "Ooh, that's kind of like a Lonesome Whistle is like a train sort of a thing." So I started writing in my head because I'm driving. Started writing down my head, and I'm going over and over again. I'm going over the first verse in my head over and over again, over and over again, over and over again. Didn't have really any melody to it, but I'm just the words. I said, because when I get home, I got to write this down, and if I don't, I'll forget. So sometimes it comes crazy like that. And, you know, over the next 24 hours, I kind of wrote out a rough draft of it, and then got brave enough to play it a couple of days last week, including the train festival. Matter of fact, my wife has not heard me perform that song in person. She
great.
only heard it because she watched the live stream from New Avenue Cafe on Sunday.
Isn't that crazy? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
But, you know, Firefly Serenade came, you know, a little bit before that. Then I have, like I said, I have some other songs I just haven't recorded yet
Yeah.
because I felt like I liked the songs, but I want to try to see if I can improve the music before I commit to
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I try to get a rough video, live video of my songs recorded, just me playing to a camera when I'm done with them. And then I try not to get more than 1 or 2 songs behind. And right now I'm about 4 songs behind. I've just been writing an awful lot, which is a good thing. And as they say, when the muse taps you on the shoulder and tells you it's time to write, you don't tell her to go away.
Yeah. Oh, we were a couple of weeks ago. We were out on vacation out west and hiking around in southern Utah.
I saw that. Great pictures, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. By not far from Arizona border. So you're getting the real prehistoric looking landscape.
Oh yeah.
And my wife had never been to Vegas, so we started out there, stayed there for 2 nights, and then made our way up for the next 7 days up in Utah. But started to get some ideas of things, what I saw. We went to a restaurant, and they gave me an idea for a song, so I wrote out the lyrics for that this week, and I got to come up with some music. I also saw some other things, just signs and things in Las Vegas, and some things, and it started to give me an idea for a song, which I've got probably an outline of. And then another one was just more of a personal song. So just in the space of that time we spent out there, I got 3 song ideas that I need to flesh out. And
It's
actually,
wonderful.
with those songs though, like I said, I don't have any melody for them. I have an idea for the one song, and I don't want to give away the title, but I do have a T-shirt with the title on it. Not that I made, but it's the name of the
Yeah.
restaurant we went to, which gave me the idea for the
Yeah.
song, and I'm kind of making it like a sort of a sing-along thing if it works, so we'll see how that
cool.
goes.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And what you mentioned about whatever part of the song comes first, just lyrics on a page or a melody or a chord progression, you can't stop playing. You always take it. Whatever comes, you take it and grab it. That's great advice for any songwriters out there, novice or otherwise.
Yeah, and for every one that you write and you feel very comfortable with, you probably have a notebook with 10 other ones.
Oh yeah. There's an attrition rate for sure.
I know a lot of people like to write with pen and paper, and if I'm in a pinch, like Lonesome Whistle, like I ran in the house and I found a notepad and started scribbling stuff, but more often than not when I write, I try to do it electronically, because then it's easier for me. Like I'll say, well, that doesn't work there. That verse doesn't go there really. It doesn't flow
Yeah.
for my logical thought, so I can move that easily or change this word or that word or whatever, and then I can stare at it versus having to look through a bunch of stuff that I scribbled or erased through. So I've actually become more computerized as far as writing out the song, and then it's real easy for me to make a chord chart, so when I'm recording I can have the chord chart there and,
Yeah.
and everything else,
Yeah.
and then when I do write a song, if I do have soloing parts in it, I do
Wonderful.
I do write the solos out. So I have a staff and I write all the solos out because
Yeah.
you got to kind of, you want to get it right. You don't want
Wonderful.
right for you, I should say.
Yeah. Well, before Keith heads into the last song he's going to share with us, I want to repeat that we're here with Keith Shaw, and you can see him on Reverb Nation or on Facebook and Twitter as Keith Shaw Music. In addition to Reverb Nation, Apple Music, and Spotify, and typical places where you find music for sale. His newest release is called Haunted, and it's wonderful. One other thing I have to mention, Keith, is I love the pop sensibility to a lot of your songs when you put your bass and drum and keyboard behind it. A lot of your songs have a great hook, and you build in this real pop sensibility to your final production. It's really cool.
Thanks. As part of, like I said, when I first started playing guitar, it was a lot of the harder edge stuff, and then I've kind of migrated to pop, and now I'm going to probably migrate into more blue, like Delta style blues type stuff.
Yeah Cool. Well, again,
you do get the fringe benefit of improving your finger style stuff.
Oh yeah, it never ends. The work never ends.
Which I'm on a major league quest to, because that was another reason I stopped the recording after I got started. I realized I was just doing a lot of Travis style picking, and I said, man, I got to kind of mix it up a little bit, or everything's going to sound like Travis style picking type.
Yeah.
Thing. So
yeah,
because that's pretty for. Maybe for some people it's not comfortable, but the Travis style picking is really comfortable for me, so I keep gravitating towards that.
Yeah. I my right hand, I very luckily, my right hand is a drummer that often is doing things unconsciously, and I play broken finger style picking. I play broken bossa nova. I use my pick and just use everything, and it is a whole nother world unto itself. It's a neat thing. Hey, this is Songwriters Alive with Tom Cooney. This is episode 22 with Keith Shaw. Keith's going to take us out on another one of his originals that he'll introduce in just one more second. Again, make sure to find Keith's stuff on Reverb Nation, Apple Music, Spotify, and wherever else you find good music these days. And he's also reachable at Facebook and Twitter as Keith Shaw Music. And Keith, I want to thank you for sharing your tunes and sharing your insights and sharing where you are on your journey. And thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for having me. This is great. Had a wonderful time. It's always good to, like you and I have met before, but we haven't had an opportunity to spend a lot of time of just going back and forth with stuff. So
yeah, it's good.
All
right, I'm going to mute myself, and you can intro your tune and take it on whenever you want.
All right. This song, I was joking about it because I only wrote it last week, and I was joking about with people. I said the ink is still wet on the paper where it came out of the printer, but I had the idea because I was playing a train theme festival. I said I should, boy, I'm losing my throat here. I should try to write a song, and I didn't force myself into it, just kind of flowed. And I came up with the idea of a lonesome whistle, and then I said, lonesome whistle kind of sounds a little bit sad and whatever. So I'll sing it for you. Hopefully we'll get it.
Can you hear that lonesome whistle blow? Can you hear that lonesome whistle blow? It's time for me to say goodbye. I must go. Can you hear that lonesome whistle blow? I'll be up before the morning light. I'll be up before the morning light. Wipe away your gentle tears. I will be alright. I will be up before the light. Walk with me to catch the train. Walk with me to catch the train. Hold me close because you won't see me again. Walk with me to catch the train. Put your lucky penny on the track. Put your lucky penny on the track. Hope I find good fortune, 'cause I won't be coming back. Put your lucky penny on the track. I'll be gone 100 miles by night. I'll be gone 100 miles by night. Far beyond the horizon, yes, I will be alright. I will be gone by night. Can you hear the lonesome whistle blow? Can you hear the lonesome whistle blow? Time for me to say goodbye, I must go. Can you hear the lonesome whistle blow? Can you hear the lonesome whistle blow? Can you hear the lonesome whistle blow?
Wonderful tune.
There you
Hypnotic song.
Yeah, I was trying to get that chugga
Yeah.
going there with the, the
Yeah.
kind of, and the thumb thing going with the bass, walking bass thing. So
Yeah. Something evocative about train songs too. People's imaginations immediately attach themselves to them.
yeah, well, I had a great time doing a bunch of them. I did, the Midnight Special, but I didn't do it
Yeah.
the way people are used to, because that song, Midnight Special, has about a dozen verses. So
It's a long one, yeah.
I picked a bunch. I picked 4 verses, started off kind of the same, and then turned it into my own version of it. Freight Train Blues by Roy Acuff and stuff.
Wonderful.
So I think those probably inspired me to write Lonesome Whistle a little bit.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, want to thank you all for listening. And hey, thanks to everyone at Rocking the Valley for the additional distribution for this show. And that's Steve Jones and everyone at Rocking the Valley. You can see them on YouTube or Facebook or rockingthevalley.com. And don't forget their secondary audio stream they have going as well. Lots of really good stuff. And you can support all the other show hosts out on Rocking the Valley and everything that Steve Jones and the gang is trying to do there. And this has been Songwriters Alive, episode 22. And it is a look with a regional songwriter from the Mid-Atlantic region who shares their original music live, who talks about their background in music, some of their thoughts about songwriting, and we get to look at some of their websites and where you can find their music. Our guest this time has been Keith Shaw. Keith, thank you so much for joining me. This was a lot of fun today.
Thank you, Tom. I had a great time too. Actually, Walter's sitting here, laying here on the floor. He's like my number one fuzzy fan. He's actually being well behaved. Usually he's trying to get my attention, but
I think I've actually seen him on cameras, as a matter of fact.
sometimes, well, he sits on my lap sometimes, and sometimes he walks on the amps behind there, and I'll see this shadow go by. And, he's just scratching and looking at me because he knows
Wonderful.
I'm talking about him.
Well, thanks again, and we'll hope to see you soon.
All right, thanks, Tom.
Take
Loved
care.
it. Thanks.
Breath of twilight caresses the air. The river mist hangs sweet and fair. The evening swallows, they whisper their tune, dancing on the moon. Why have the stars